Welcome back to Chaos in the Old World. We are finishing round 2, and so we start with the battle phase. And of course we follow the path as well, so we're going to start at Norska, and we have a bloodletter up there, but he has no valid targets, so no battle's going to happen. Over here in Troll Country, we have no miniatures at all. And yes, we have a big dust up going on in Kislev, so let's zoom down in there and get rolling the battle. Alright, so following in battle order sequence, Khorne is up first. He has 1 bloodletter. He's going to be rolling 2 dice. And he rolls a 6, which is a explosion, so that's 1 hit. And rolls a 1. So he gets 1 hit. He cannot target Slaanesh's Demonette because she has 2 defense. So he can either take out one of Nurgle's Plague Bearers or one of the cultists. He's going to knock out one of the cultists, so we'll just remove it because cultists cannot fight. I know you're supposed to tip them on the side, but whatever. Alright, next up we're going to have Nurgle. Nurgle has 2 Plague Bearers. They get 1 die each for attacking. Wow, he gets 2 hits. He gets 3 hits. And so he is going to, doesn't really matter, he will take out, he'll do 2 hits to the bloodletter, and the bloodletter will be gone. Alright, Slaanesh's Demonette has 1 dice, 1 die to attack. Wow, a 6 is an explosion, 1 hit, 2 hits, and a 1, so 2 hits. Well, not quite enough. She is going to take out 2 cultists of Nurgle. Alright. And now, we do have a card here, which says at the end of battle, kill 1 enemy cultist or warrior in this region for each of your corruption tokens here. Well, Nurgle has 3 corruption tokens. The bloodletter's already killed. So he could kill 3 enemy figures. There's only 1 enemy figure here, so boom, gone. And that's going to leave Nurgle in pretty good shape here. So that's that battle zone. Let's go to another one, which is next door into the Empire. Alright, so lots going on in the Empire. We have Blood Frenzy, which is being played by Khorne. And it says at the beginning of battle, you roll 2 dice here and apply any resulting hits before regular battle dice are rolled. So we're going to roll right off the bat 2 dice for Khorne. He rolls a 6, which is an explosion, so that's 1 hit. So he gets 1 hit, and he can apply that right away. And so he's going to knock out one of Slaanesh's cultists. And then he has his bloodletter, which is going to roll 2 dice. Wow, I am just nailing it for Khorne. That's 2 hits plus an explosion, so he gets to roll another die. It's 2 hits, 3 hits. Oh my goodness. 3 hits, and that was a 1. So 3 hits from Khorne. Wow, what does he want to do? Well, he's just going to mess over Slaanesh. He's going to take out 3 cultists. Wow, that's just incredibly hostile. Now, Slaanesh has 2 Demonettes. They're going to roll 1 die each. Oh, jeez. 2 6s. We don't need to roll the explosions. That's enough to take... the bloodletters only have 1 hit point anyway. Boom, he is gone. Wow, but did Khorne ever mess over Slaanesh there? Slaanesh only has 1 cultist left, and so they're not going to end up getting a tick on their dial, which reminds me right now that I forgot. Every time Khorne, why am I calling them Khorne? They're not Klingons. Every time Khorne takes out one of the enemy miniatures, which he did in Kislev and which he did in the Empire, he gets 1 token on his wheel. So we're going to go and put 2 tokens on his wheel right now. Alright, so Khorne doing a good job with his bloodletters. 2 tokens on his wheel. That's pretty awesome. We only have 1 other location on the board where a battle is going to take place, and that's Estalia. So let's zoom down there and deal with that. Alright, so once more, Khorne has a bloodletter there. He gets to go first. He's attacking us, Zinch. Wow, what is with the explosion dice? That's 1 hit. Gets to roll another one. Unbelievable. 2 hits. Wow. 2 hits. That's 3 hits. And that is 1, 2, 3. Oh, not quite enough to mess us over. He's going to take out 3 cultists, though. Wow, unbelievable. Khorne is just rolling like a madman. All right, we have 1 horror, and he gets 1 attack die. Come on, yes, and we hit with a 5. Bloodletters only have 1 hit point. He is gone. However, Khorne did it again. He killed a miniatures in a location, and so he gets to have another token put on his wheel. So let's do that. Wow, Khorne racking up the kills. That's a 3rd token on his wheel. That is brutal. Okay, that was the battle phase. Next up, of course, is the corruption phase. So now we're going to start looking and see if there's any dominance going on in any of the regions, starting up with Norska. All right, so up in Norska, we have 1 bloodletter, which is going to be a dominance value of 1. And us, Tzeentch, we have a card with a 1. Neither has the majority, and neither is over a defense of 1. So nothing's going to happen in Norska. There are no miniatures, nothing happening in Troll Country, so let's zoom down in Kislev and see what's going on there for dominance. All right, so up here in Kislev, we have a 2 for Nurgle, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 dominance versus a resistance of 3, no problem. Nurgle is going to score 3 victory points right now for Kislev. So let's go to the victory point track and give Nurgle 3 points. All right, Nurgle gets 3 points. 1, 2, 3. He is now tied with Khorne at 9 points. Back to the board for the next domination phase over in the Empire. All right, Slaanesh, not impressed in the least. Just got pounded here. Only has 1, 2, 3. Nowhere near able to beat the resistance of 5. So there's going to be no domination in the Empire. And right here, I guess we'll cheat a little bit. Next zone over. We as Tzeentch have 1, 2 with our card. That's not enough to overcome 3. And Khorne only has 1 miniature. No domination in Bretonnia. Let's take a look at Estalia. And then the other zones, there's no miniatures at all. So Estalia is the last one. All right. And as Tzeentch, pretty annoying. Wow. Khorne just rolled like a maniac here. We only have 1, 2, 3 miniatures and a +1 on a card. That's 4. That is not enough to beat the resistance of 4. We do not get anything for Estalia because of that rotten Khorne bloodletter rolling so many 6s. Wow, hosed. And the last 3 zones, Tilia, the Border Princes, and the Badlands, do not have any miniatures or cards at all, so we're not even going to look at them. Now we are going into the phase where we are going to place corruption into the zones. And we're going to start in Kislev, because it's the first place in order that has any cultists. Right up here in Kislev, Nurgle has 2 cultists, and that means he is going to be placing 2 corruption tokens in here. So he has a total now of 5 corruption tokens, which is not 12. So 5 + 1 for the Warpstone, 6. That region of the board is not going to be ruined. And I guess we can easily do this one or do a little bit of cheating again. Next up, we have the Empire. There is only 1 Slaanesh cultist there, but that's going to add another 1 corruption, taking the total of Slaanesh corruption to 4, and they don't get a wheel advancement. Because Slaanesh's ability is if they put 2 cultists or 2 corruption plus in a zone with a noble or a hero, they get to add a tick to the wheel. And that reminds me, Nurgle has completed his ability, which is placing 2 or more corruption in a zone in a populous zone. They're going to get a token on their wheel, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, so Nurgle, having done his little bit, gets a token on his wheel. Wow, Khorne's got 3 up there. That's nasty. Nurgle gets 1. Let's go over to Bretonnia and place some corruption. And before I do that, yes, I have a correction. The Battle Cry card that Khorne played down says no corruption tokens may be placed in this region during this round. So the 1 corruption we placed in here, can't place it because of this card. All right, now let's go to Bretonnia. All right, so here in Bretonnia we have 1 Khorne cultist. That is going to add 1 Khorne corruption. And we have 1 of our Tzeentch cultists, and that's going to add a 2nd corruption token for us. So now each of us have 2. That's 4 corruption, nowhere near ruining the area. The last place on the board that has any cultists at all is Estalia. Let's go and place corruption there. All right, so finally, we have 2 cultists, which means we're going to place 2 corruption in Estalia. I think that takes our total up to, that's 5 corruption now from Zinch, us. We have a magic symbol on the card, and we have a warp stone. So we have a 2. We place 2 or more corruption. That is going to give us a token on our threat dial. So let's go ahead and do that, and that's the last zone for placing corruption. So we're going to add 1 token to our threat dial. All right, finally, after messing ourselves over last time, we do get a token on our dial, and poor Slaanesh is the only one now that doesn't have anything on the threat dial. Khorne has 3, Nurgle's got 1, we have 1 for Zinch, and Slaanesh, the big nothing. All right, that's the corruption phase, and now we're into the end phase. All right, I'm zoomed in here because at the beginning of the end phase is removing cards from the board. Well, every card is coming off the board except for 1, and that's this one. If you kill 1 or more figures in battle, which we did, we killed the Bloodletter. In this region, this round, you may choose to not discard this card in the end phase, leaving it in place for the next round. So we're going to leave this card in place for the next round. Every other card is going to be removed from the board, so I'm going to do that from all the other regions. So I just wanted to make note of that. That card's going to stay there. Okay, I'm zoomed in here on the threat dials because the rest of the end phase is resolve old world cards. Well, we don't have any old world cards on the track to resolve at all. And we score ruined regions now, but we don't have any ruined regions, so we're going to skip that as well. Next is advance the threat dial. So starting with Khorne. Khorne has 3. He has the most of anybody. He is going to get 2 advancements of his wheel. Wow. So first advancement for him is he's going to get an upgrade card. So we'll go deal with that. And next he gets to draw 2 chaos cards. So let's go to his area. He's going to get an upgrade card to play, and he gets to draw 2 cards. All right, so Khorne gets to draw 2 cards. So 1, 2, we'll just add them to his hand without looking at them, and he also gets to play 1 of his upgrade cards, and he is going to play he's going to play Power of Blood, and I don't know if that's going to focus. Power of Blood, let's see if that will work. Power of Blood says when you recover power points in the draw phase, gain 1 power point more than the highlighted value. So instead of getting 7 on his card every time, he's going to get 8. So we're just going to place this card up here so we don't forget. And I'm going to put his power token on there. So he's going to be now having 8 power points a turn instead of 7. Nasty. Let's go back to the threat dials. Nurgle is up next. All right, Nurgle has a token. Nurgle gets to do an advancement. And what do they get? Remove 1 corruption. So somewhere on the board, Nurgle gets to remove a corruption token. Let's go to the board and see where he's going to do that. All right, Nurgle's all about populous regions, so he's going to hammer on Slaanesh. He's going to take one of Slaanesh's 3 threat tokens and remove it from the Empire. All right, Zinch, yay, that's us. We get a dial turn. Let's have a look and see what we get. All right, yay, we finally get our first threat dial turn, and we're getting to, yes, of course, we know what it was. We get to place a warp stone. So let's go to the board. As Zinch, we get to place a warp stone. I wonder where we're going to put it. I'm not really sure, but we'll think of something. All right, so we've decided to do basically the same thing we did before. We're going to place a warp stone token in Bretonia. And that is the end of the dial turn phases. So the threat values, we are still the lowest. Zinch is at 7, Slaanesh is at 8, Nurgle is at 10 threat level, and Khorne is at 14. So Khorne is the most threatening player so far, and after rolling the dice for him, wow, I can see why. So now we would check for end game conditions. None of the dials say victory, so none of the 4 gods has won through victory dial turns. We still have nobody even close to 50 victory points. The next thing we check is, are there any old world cards to be drawn? Yes, there are, so the game does not end in a loss for everybody. And are there 5 ruination cards out on the board? No, there's not. There's not even 1. So basically the game's not going to end. We're going to be going into round 3. All right, and the points right now, Nurgle and Khorne tied at 9, Tzeentch, us at 5, and Slaanesh in the back at 3 points. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Join me next time when we get into round 3 of Warhammer Chaos in the Old World. We're doing the base game with the 4 gods, Tzeentch, Slaanesh, Khorne, and Nurgle. All right, thanks so much for watching. Join me next time.